Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. Today, I don't know whether we get the Flirtenflaus or whether we get Brett Sheridan, but I do know the hair's pushed back, so it's looking like Brett is joining us live. Hi,
Yes.
Brett.
Hello, hello. I couldn't find a good hat. I need new hats. I'm running
Wh-
out of hats to
What do
wear.
you do with a hat and a headset?
It just goes over top of it. It works pretty
The
good.
hat goes on top of it?
Yeah, yeah. Or no, not on top.
What?
No, the headset goes on
The
top of
headset
the
goes on
hat.
top of the
Yeah,
hat.
yeah. I did. I flipped that. I flipped
You
it
know,
on you.
I've always wanted to be cool enough. I see the kids. I see the cool kids wear the headset here. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where they put it down when they have the hat on. It like goes so that
Ah.
top part goes down here. You don't
They.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, they actually make some that are made for people, like for runners and stuff. I think that go right that. But yeah, doing this kind of thing.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that's what it
it's
is.
it's a
But
little uncomfortable.
I have very little ears and they don't hold anything. So when I put them there like that, it kind of just like flattens out. And then also there's the this one, like where you wear it like a beard.
Oh
That's kind
yeah,
of cool looking too. I feel like it looked normal when you just did it back there. You
yeah.
should
It was all right. I'd have to tighten it up a little bit. Oh,
uh
but then it'll slip. Yeah. I got to get it
I
right
like
on.
that that's how you test things. I do the same thing and it's like at what point in life are you actually making when are you actually doing
Doing
that?
this. Well,
See,
if I'm really agreeing with you on something, it'll come in handy.
Brett, since when have we really agreed? What are we going to really agree on
Well,
today?
I think what prior talk, I think there's a lot of things we agree on. I think so.
When I was putting out the tweet for yesterday about today's show, I said the man that once drove me to the airport, and I got a couple comments back on that. Like, is that like is that code for something? Is that like, what are you talking about?
That's an LA euphemism.
No, it's a real thing. But I actually think it matters and means something. And I do feel like, and I wonder if you feel the same, that was kind of the start of our actual friendship.
Yes, yes.
It
Because
was, but I was trying to remember before that what happened. There was a thing, but I don't know what it was. Do you remember what it was?
that what I took you to the airport or
No, it
why?
was before that. There was a thing. That was the start of our friendship because prior to that, there was a thing. I don't know what the thing was though. You know
We
what I'm
just
talking about?
I think it's just you didn't get my
You?
goofiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think you were more serious about things and yeah, it was just there was just something that wasn't vibing, I don't think. And I think you thought that I was I think you thought I was just like a total redneck and like, almost
I don't
like
know. I don't remember thinking that. You could be right. I don't know that I've ever thought that anybody was like a redneck. But I think that I remember there being like I apologized to you about something and you apologized to me about something. And then we had the airport situation in which I needed to get to the airport and you said, I'll drive you, which to people in other places might not be that big of a deal, but to drive somebody to the airport in LA means I'm committing 2 hours of my life to you. That's like just legitimately what it means. And remember, we hit so much traffic.
oh, it was the worst. It was like the worst day to go. I don't know, was it prior to a holiday or
I
something?
really don't remember, but I remember thinking he definitely regrets this. Like
No.
he thought he was offering something really like quick and easy, and we were in the car together for over 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean, in Nebraska, the closest airport was 30 minutes away. So, when people asked you to drive them to the airport, you were committing to at least an hour and a half,
but I
round trip.
feel like 30 minutes away and then zoom, 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 right in, right out.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
yeah.
the LA airport is 15 minutes away.
Yeah. And they
But
were in the middle
then
of all that construction by Southwest. It was
that's what
like,
happened.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what happened. But that was the start of our friendship. I feel like that's when I started to understand, or whatever I thought about you before, I no longer thought about
Well, it
you.
was probably the interview you gave me on the way there, where I was driving and it was just you. So tell me about your family. Tell me about this. Tell me about. It was like you were giving a legit, almost therapy session slash interview.
Off putting?
No, no, not at all. I love answering questions like that. I think some people are afraid to uh, reveal their demons, if you will, or let out some of their vulnerabilities. And I've always been kind of an open book when it comes to that.
Well, I think that there's not many people. that the more I know them, the less I like them. I find that that doesn't usually happen with people. I find that the more you know somebody, the more you like them because the more you understand them. Is
Yeah,
that similar to you?
100%. Yeah, yeah,
So I've always kind of just I don't know. I get very curious. I get very curious. I want to understand people. But I do think that it's good that you didn't take it that in a negative way because I have gotten a lot of heat my entire life about grilling people. Because
yeah.
I will ask fucking, I mean, I remember I asked about your parents, about your upbringing, your children. I mean, those are very like personal uh things. And you answered every single question.
Yeah. And I would say with you, I knew, some of the things you had told me was some of the DMs you'd received in the bull, and I said every time I saw a negative comment about you on YouTube or something, I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like,
Yeah,
it's
it's been
rude.
lit recently, Brett.
No, what?
Holy shit. I don't know that I've received more hate ever than I've received in quarantine. Which is wild. I think that half of the world right now has decided okay, this is a wake up call. We all need to love each other and be
Yeah.
one with the world. And half the world is doubling down like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck everybody. I rock. Also, go suck a bag of dicks.
God.
And those people love to suck bags of dicks towards me, whatever that
Yeah,
phrasing is.
it's a great use of that term.
Maybe because they have more time. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's been
I
crazy.
I don't understand that if you and I've talked about this on SAM before is like the people that immediately give 13 likes right at the like what is it that you want to wake up in the morning and immediately like show somebody hatred for them? What is inside of that person? What are they dealing with that they want to, you know, and the thing I always have to remind myself is the majority of the people are good. The ones that aren't are the loudest.
Yeah, they're so loud.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Do you think that every one of those loud dick sucking baggers is that's what we're going with today? Do you think that every one of them has a trauma, an issue, or do you think some of them are just genuine, like had great lives, great upbringings, jobs, families, beautiful, and just are dicks?
I think that that can be true. Yeah, I think there's people that there's yeah. This is a lot of stuff. It's like I think there's a lot of things with men, and they can choose two paths. They can choose to be like their grandfathers and their and that we're misogynist and and not good. And I chose a different path. I was a mama's boy, and I chose to defend women and be not be that person. And I think that's how I found a nice wife because I was good to her and defended her. And I don't know, I don't understand the YouTube community of hatred and all that. It's always been something that's confused me, but I will say I finally have stopped just even looking at it. I know you guys told me to not look at it for years, and I would kind of go, well, but there's some nice things, and then even if it's not towards me, I get mad when I see somebody say something bad about somebody I know and somebody that I love. It's like just like oh
Well, because you can't believe somebody would leave somebody's fingertips. Like it's hard to imagine sometimes that people legitimately have, I want to say the balls, but it's really not the balls, have the audacity to hit send.
yeah,
Like you hit send on that. That's crazy.
and
That's fucking crazy.
it's the anonymity of it. It's the like I've said before when in school if you like in my day if you didn't like a kid you went up to his face and you punched him in the face or something or if somebody didn't like you they got right in your face and they told you to their face and you saw that person and you knew who they were
Yeah, and
but
honestly, I don't mind that. If you
yeah.
hate me, punch me in the face. All
Yeah.
right, I can deal with that.
But on YouTube, you've got some little avatar Link from Zelda or something, and you're like, and then this person's telling you to eat a bag. Like, why is Link telling me eat a bag of dicks? That's not very nice, you
Well,
know.
a bag of links.
A bag of links.
What is because I don't see much for you in terms of coming at you for hate. The people seem to love you, which is awesome. But what is the thing that actually hits you about yourself? Like when somebody says blank in the comments, I know you're not reading them anymore, but what is the one that actually you're like, "Ooh, that hurts."
Early on, it was just that they insulted my intelligence in terms of like film and stuff like that, because I went on there to be somebody that had kind of lost touch with films, and the whole Brett to the Future thing I did on the Schmoes Nose show was me
Right.
catching up. But I was a horrible reviewer, and I embraced that, and that was my bit. My bit was not having a cohesive review of a movie. It was going all over the place and concentrating more on the fact that I couldn't find where to rent it, and I didn't want to pay $6 to rent it here because I wanted it free somewhere else. So that was the fun for me. But the most hate I ever got was that when I would say something that I didn't like a movie. And I never said something was garbage or something. I just said it wasn't for me. Interstellar, first movie I ever reviewed. I thought it was slow burn. I didn't
Wasn't
really
for me
care for it.
either.
And that was just like, fuck you, Brett. You are,
Die.
yeah, die. And I'm like, I just said a movie you didn't. That's very confusing to me. Why you would want me to die because of that?
Yeah. Well, it makes perfect sense to me, Brett. So I'm here to defend all of those people. I
Yes.
see you. I respect and feel you guys. Keep coming. Keep the hatred coming. Good for you. Let's get into the super chat.
Let's do it.
I'm being facetious, by the way. Sometimes you guys clip out my words in weird fucking spots. That was a joke. I know I'm not very funny, but just know that. Larry Lee says, "Hey guys, hit that like button. Thanks, Larry, for pimping out my stream.
Slam
Appreciate
that like
it.
button.
Slam it." Larry also says, "Hey, the Flirtin' Flaus is in cahoots, 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 cahoots."
Yeah, cahoots. We were talking about the whole AMC Universal feud over like them saying they're not going to show the films in the
Yeah, this has been wild. Did you guys talk about that on SEM?
Yeah, and there was
Oh.
in the article somebody said that somebody was in cahoots with somebody, and that just kind of Christian and I went off on the word cahoots isn't used enough. It's a wonderful word,
It
and
is a wonderful word, but it's so loaded. Like
hmm
that is when somebody's in cahoots,
oh
that's fuck that's fucking serious.
yeah,
Like that
yeah,
you're really ooh, you're trying to pull the wool over my eyes. Maddie B says I love Saturdays because I'm able to watch live. So happy that you are able to watch live, Maddie B. And also happy because that probably means that you're still working during the week. So
yes.
good for you. You know what I'm watching right now, Brett? A spider crawl right across my screen. It's like a little
Oh,
too far away for me to get it.
oh no.
Nope, I'm
Are
watching
you
it
are you freaked
go.
out by spiders? Do you have?
So let me tell you this. Let me tell you this, sir. Yes, but also being solo during quarantine has made me fucking aggressively like, no, I can do this myself. I am woman, hear me roar. That spider's got no chance. Usually I'm a spider take 'em outsider.
hmm
I'm a spider murderer.
Oh, you're killing them now.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a spider murderer. And I feel no shame because it's
Clip that
me
out.
versus them during this time. But this one is an interesting little bugger. It's a little kind of red. That makes her
Yeah.
poisonous, right? Well, look at her go. I'll
Yeah.
get you later, my friend. And you're a
Yeah.
pretty dog,
My
too.
wife is has an irrational fear of spiders, as she describes
Really?
it. Like the funny story, she was out on the porch, like she has some succulents out there, and she was like digging through and replanting some stuff, and one got on her skirt. She ran in the house and pulled her pants, her skirt off, and threw it across the room, and was screaming and running around the room. That's how freaked out she is by. And the spider, I don't even think landed on her.
Yeah, I did. There was a spider in my bed, and that fucking made me jump. Anything in my bed is like, it feels like a complete game over.
Yeah, stay out of my space.
Stay
This
out of my
is.
face. 100%. Ben says, the flirtin' flows in the house, Roxy's house. LOL. Well, I mean, technically, he's in his own house because we respect the rules. Thank you very
I'm in my
much.
bedroom.
True. Michael Wilson says, probably my two favorite humans. Love you
Wow.
both. Wow, isn't it crazy to be anybody's favorite human? Like, I think you're great. I'm decent. Decent at best. Favorite humans.
It's that's just a tough. Yeah, my list of favorite humans is.
Who's your favorite human?
I would say, well, I can't say one because I have a whole family, but I would say
I won't tell them, Brett.
my
Just pick one.
my family is my favorite humans. I actually honestly do love, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my kids, and my wife. Like there's not any like this kind of thing in my family. I think if one thing I'm thankful for is that even though my parents are divorced, they still can be in a room together. Not now, but and they never did that thing where it made us feel uncomfortable to be,
Mm-hmm.
like where it was
Like
like
pick sides. Where you
yeah,
going? What are you
yeah. They
doing?
never did that to us, and that's one thing that I really, really like appreciated about how amicably they went when we went through that. That it was good, and my stepfather raised me, and I was adopted at 18. I took his name legally, and it was yeah, it's
Look
my
how cute
dad.
your face got when you
That's my
said
dad.
that. That made me want to kind of tear up for a second. I saw a thing going back to the favorite human thing for a second, though, which was amazing. There's an actress from the Goldbergs, which is a show I don't watch, so I don't know who it was, but she's got millions of followers, so obviously she's famous. She feels like she's like the Sarah Hyland of the Goldbergs. She's the young 20-year-old girl on the show. So anyway, she did a video with her. I'm guessing boyfriend, husband, whatever he is, and she says to him, would you rather kiss me for $100 or the hottest woman on the planet for $700? And he thinks he's making the right answer. Obviously, he goes, you for 100. And she looks at him and says, who's the hottest woman on the planet? And I just thought that moment, it's exactly what I just did to you. Like, who's your favorite? There's no winning.
You can't.
You are fucked no matter what happens.
Not, no, no. And that reminds me of my son, very analytical, very, like my wife said, am I the greatest mom ever or what? And he said, well, that's really hard to gauge because there are a lot of moms out there, and I never had a different mom, so I can't, really say that, you are the best mom in the world. And she just kind of,
That's
okay.
so gutting, though. Just say
Right?
yes. Say
just,
yes.
just say yes. Don't analyze it.
Shout out to Anthony Nugent. Just said Brett and Roxy with
Hey,
smiles.
Anthony.
That's true. Stating facts. Brett and Roxy. Very,
Yeah.
very true.
Yeah.
James Wheeler says, hello, Roxy and Brett. I love hello these days, but
Mm-hmm.
hello. Uh, as someone with autism, you have both really helped me to come out of my shell. So I want to say thank you. Oh, James, I really appreciate you
That's
saying
awesome.
that. Thank you back for writing that. And hello back to you, James. Hello
Yes.
back to you. Uh, wow, look at that spider go. I mean, you can't, but it's happening. Let's jump over into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Coming in from Weston Ira, who says, the time has come for Zoxy to save us all. Wow, is that our ship name? Zoxy?
Zoxy.
The Flirtin' Floss and Roxy? All right. With its Blade Runner-esque score to highlight real and meme-worthy moments, how does Flaus think the week's Clone Wars episode and supposed last arc will shape the future of Star Wars? Oh, great question. Who knew we were going to do this to you today? You thought you
Yeah.
were done with this. No.
That's well, Christian. I've been tasked. I've only seen 3 episodes, the last three of this Clone Wars, just so I can kind of on it. And yeah, I like it. I think it's something that I would go back and watch, but I am confusing because I don't have a lot of backstory. I'm not I'm a casual Star Wars fan, so I don't know, and the political stuff always confused me.
Yes, yes, me as well. I only have ever seen one episode of Clone Wars, and it was the first episode of the season this year. So what, we're on season 7?
I think so. Yeah.
So this is the first episode I ever saw, and Screen Junkies had asked me to cover it for them. The morning of, they said, "Well, we're talking about his Clone Wars." So I was like, "Hmm." And I told them, I said, "I've never seen it, but I'll
Yeah.
watch this episode." I went in, and then obviously talking about fan hate, they were like, "How could you review this when you'd only seen one?" I was like, "It's my job, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
my
You
job."
gotta.
Do you want to go back and watch it all?
I probably would do it if my son was down for it.
Is
I'm trying
he
to. I'm trying
typically
to.
down for that kind of thing?
I don't. It's. He's. I'll tell you what. This quarantine has made me realize that um, having a 9-year-old and a 13-year-old in quarantine is a lot different than maybe having a 4-year-old and a 10-year or 9-year-old or so. It's like
Different, better, different, harder, different what?
different. Like they used to they used to only want to hang out with my wife and myself and didn't really. Now they want to be with their friends, so they're kind of down, and they want to be online zooming with them and having house party, and my son's constantly playing Minecraft with his friends. So um I miss when they were my buddies and they wanted to do stuff with me, because there's a lot like, hey, you guys want to play a board game or no? Okay.
But also, don't you feel like it's nice that they're a little independent so you and your wife maybe can hang out a little more?
Oh yeah, yeah. There is that plus, and that was something that when I went through my depression the last year, was me coming to terms with the fact that my children aren't my best buddies anymore. That they have friends, and so luckily I'd already dealt with that through therapy and medication. That I know that my children need to move on, but I think I was a little too attached to their them being my buddies, because when you get married and you have kids, you kind of lose all your friends, and then your
Yeah, yeah.
kids become your friends and your wife, and then when they don't want to be your friends anymore, you're like, oh, hey guys, how you doing, Gary? I haven't talked to you in years.
What is quarantine doing for you? Because I know, Brett, you've been very open about your depression, and that's something I've talked about here for me personally as well, that I've struggled with. And I'm open about this too. I've been prescribed Xanax since I was 13 years
Yeah,
old, which luckily I don't have to take as often now as when I was like really going through it. But how is quarantine kind of affecting that? Is it making it much more isolating? Is it helpful because you get to spend more time?
there was a couple moments that I kind of was felt like I was backsliding a little bit, but I felt like and prior to this, I had already weaned off. I was doing Celexa, Wellbutrin, and then Xanax when needed. And I didn't like. I was like, already I didn't want to take one, and I was on three, and I'm like, I wean off this one? Celexa, I think, was making me kind of shaky.
So it was
And
like depression, anxiety combination of
yeah,
the
yeah,
medication. Wow, they really sometimes they give you a cocktail and it's hard to even feel anymore like what you're feeling or what you're because I've been on a bunch of stuff. It's
yeah,
just like, wait, is this making it better even? I don't
yeah.
even know anymore.
I think you need to cry sometimes, and I think we went to Toy Story 4, and I was inside, I was choked up, but like there was no physical tears happening, and that to me was like, wait, I this is a time that it's okay to cry,
Right, but my body is like,
is
nope.
not allowing me to.
Yeah.
So I wanted to feel more emotion. So I think I've dialed it in pretty good, and I mean I think we've dealt with it pretty good in terms of I'm not laying around. I mean, we do sleep in, because the kids won't wake us up.
What's sleep in?
My wife and I woke up at 10 today,
That's awesome.
and
That's
I
awesome.
can't remember. I mean, we were up at 5:36 every day, getting the kids ready for school, and now we woke up. We're like, what was? T-?
And they're already awake or they're sleeping.
Oh, they're up and they're playing games with their friends, and yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's crazy. Let me another question for you. I feel like that's my thing. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. But another question for you about this, as it's a question that I want the literally the answer. Reason I want the answer is for my own personal gain. So just know that going into it. But when I feel like you and your wife have such an incredible relationship, and anytime you've talked about it, I've just always thought that you're both so supportive of each other. What is the things that she does or what can she do when you are going through it that actually helps? Like, what are the most supportive things or the things that she does that you're like, that's why she's my person?
Yeah, that's a tough one because I think, um, honestly, there was a point where that's when she said, I don't think I can help you, and I really wish you'd go see someone
That's
because
kind of why I was asking. I don't know, like, is there anything that she can do, or is there anything people can do when their loved ones are like that?
I think the biggest thing that I've always said is that don't hide your feelings with your loved ones, and when they tell you that maybe you should go see a therapist and stuff like that, don't. I was anti-therapist, anti-medication for years and years and years, and I don't know. I just and it was because of one experience I had with a therapist, who I sat down and told her all this stuff, and then I even mentioned, I go, I don't read her. I'm not a reader. I can't read. I don't want to read books. I'll do other things, but like, and she's, and then at the end of the session, she goes, I want you to read this book by Deepak Chopra. And I was like,
You
okay,
didn't listen
you
to a
didn't,
fucking word that I said.
yeah.
Yeah.
So then suddenly I let one experience, go, oh, therapists are kooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, and you found the right person eventually?
I did, and then I'm actually not seeing a therapist right now, because of a. I found somebody I liked, and then the insurance. She stopped taking my insurance, so
It sucks. It
yeah,
sucks. That's the way it is. I mean, because the best therapists don't need to take insurance because they are so sought after.
yeah,
I find it to be so difficult. I've been looking for somebody out here, but it's so hard to find somebody. There's all
and
these online ones. Have you tried that at all?
I zoomed with my psychiatrist the other day, who told me that he watches SEN, and he goes, "How are you depressed, man? You seem like you're so happy-go-lucky." And like, I was like, "Wow."
He watches SEN.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if he's like religiously watching it, but he said he says I've watched your show. I googled you, and I'm like, how is this guy upset? He seems so jovial and happy, and uh, I
Wait,
was like,
what? That is like the worst. I'm sorry. That's like the worst thing that somebody could say because that's not what depression is.
right, right. You're like,
Wait, what? But also, for some reason, even though it's a live public show, it does kind of feel like an invasion of your privacy.
right, right. Yeah, I don't know. I appreciated it,
It's
and
nice. It's well,
I don't know if it's them trying to kind of gauge what and I don't, I'm sure that's, I don't think there's anything illegal about I mean, you know I don't know,
no,
because I mean,
no.
if it, if I were Brad Pitt or something, and you said, oh, I saw you in this interview, you seemed great, whatever,
You
because
are Brad
that's
Pitt,
closest,
Brad.
that's the
That's
closest
that's a
actor.
good comparison, I do think. Let's get back into some of these Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Glenn Caesar says, Roxy and Brett, these food related questions are for both of you.
Okay.
Glenn loves to ask food related questions. Number one, what's your favorite meal to have when you're feeling down? Uh, I'll answer these a different time, but you answer them. Favorite food to have when you're feeling down. There's four questions. That's the
Well,
first one.
I mean, I'm such a cliche, but I'll kill a half a gallon of or a pint of ice cream.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll
done, done and done.
destroy
Completely.
it. But like, I,
Okay.
I like stews, and if you're going for the savory sense, I've been making a lot of pot roasts and
Are you a good cook?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've always been able to cook. I learned at an early age, and I enjoyed it. And I could take my mom's Betty Crocker old recipe book that she gave me that's all tattered, and I would try new things. I made donuts at home one time. I would try all kinds of different things, and you know, dumpling stews and things. And I don't know. I just always was could read a recipe, but also I know how to like not follow it so much and add my own thing, and yeah,
Okay.
I enjoy it.
Part two, favorite breakfast food?
Ooh, favorite breakfast food. Well, we had too much food in the house today, but there's a place by me, Benny's Tacos, that has the best breakfast burrito, and I really wanted one, but my wife said we have too much food in the house. We can't have that right now.
Food in the house and I'm in the house food. Are you watching
Yes.
any of those TikTok things? Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the No, do you know that song yet?
I'm not. We had to actually have a conversation with my daughter about TikTok.
Ooh,
I
why she's
didn't.
on it?
I didn't realize when we put like a block that nobody could follow her. I thought that also meant she was blocked from certain content,
But
but
what? But no.
no, they're open. Like you can't limit what they watch. And during this time, a lot of people are doing it, and they're doing more, you know,
Risque.
off risque items and things like that. There was a
What was the
specific.
conversation? What did you say?
Well, we're just like we can't really have you watch the video so much, and then the tears start. All right, because the biggest thing she loves is these dances. Like I
Yeah.
guess so she's constantly doing like and trying to mimic these whatever dances they came up. I think there's one of TikToker that does a lot of the different
There's
dances.
tons of them. Yeah.
I'm always seeing her doing this kind of thing. But
Savage.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that was the
Oh, so
part
she
where
cried.
she
Shit.
was she went to tears on. Um, but it was another parent that was saying like, "Hey, do you know that uh, been a bunch of women, and you don't see it, but putting ice cube in their vaginas, and reacting to it, and that's like a new thing.
Did your
That's like
daughter see that?
no, I don't think so. I hope not. I don't know. Um, I will say that
Oh my
the
God.
the internet and everything. I think that my wife and I weren't prepared for any of this because it was new to us, and all these things like iPads and things like that, and I didn't really do my research when it came to my kids. I did put parental blocks on some things.
Yeah, but not like how if you can't, you can't on
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah,
Wow. Things I've never had to think about. That's
yeah.
fucking crazy. Okay, wait, more of this. Favorite dessert is part three.
Well, I guess that's ice cream. But then if I couldn't do ice cream,
Why can't you do ice cream?
well, that's just repetitive, I guess, because that
But if
was
it's
my
ice cream, it's ice cream.
yeah. I mean ice. Oh,
All right, and number four, favorite late night snack. I feel like it's also ice cream.
for me, I'm known to get up in the middle of the night and just eat a variety of odd items. I'm a half asleep binge eater.
Me too. Me
Yeah,
too. I'll get up and I'll go for a box of Oreos.
yeah.
It'll be like 3 in the morning.
Just destroy it.
Yeah, that's my life. Max Million says, "Hey Roxy, I love you so much. That is all. God bless." Oh, thanks, Max. But then Max says, "The way I think of haters is with empathy. I cannot imagine how horrible their hearts must be to want to tear down nice people. Like, actually, what frame of mind you'd have to be in. I'm grateful that I'm in a healthier spot, not condoning, just empathizing."
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that, but also like people make choices.
Mm-hmm.
So, because I always was somebody too, was like, I empathize. They must be in such a horrible place, but it's like I've been in really not great places. You've been in really not great places. It doesn't give you the right to be a piece of shit.
Yeah. And
So we can still have empathy.
we don't know how old. Like I know that like in junior high, that was my worst time with like bullying and stuff like that. And my mom always taught me. She was like, well, they may have things going on at home, and they're taking it out on
Hmm.
you, and that because you're meek and you're not such a kind of a guy, maybe
What was
that's
it?
like I wasn't filled with rage, and these kids. And then I found out also a lot of these kids that were picking on me had a lineage of family members that like, oh, that family? Well, that his dad used to beat up my brother, like so
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they just they continued this just like family tree of just being what was there's the kids in the Happy Gilmore. There's the
Yeah.
whatever rules. It's that kind of a thing.
Oh,
The
Doyle?
Doyle's, yeah, it's that thing.
Oh, never have I ever gotten a reference before. Weston says, I have 5 to 10 Star Wars questions now,
Perfect.
but then doesn't ask them. Is there any chance of Iron Woman slash Starbuck coming on to talk about their roles this season and in The Mandalorian? Probably. I literally am not smart enough in this area to know what that question means.
Is Starbuck Katie Sackhoff? Is that who she voices? I believe. And what was the first one?
Is there any chance of Iron Woman slash Starbuck coming on to talk about her role this season and in The Mandalorian, parentheses, probably?
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think Starbuck is Katie Sackhoff, who's
Maybe she's also Iron Woman, and is
yeah.
she in Mandalorian this season?
That's what they're thinking because she's in the Clone Wars, and then there's this tie-in with I always say her name Ahsoka Tana,
Yeah.
and then Tana, and then Darth Maul is in this. So there's some things that I guess are starting to tie into where this might be showing us some characters that might be in the Mandalorian. Is what I gathered from my uh, recent.
I literally have no idea.
I know.
Zero idea.
I'm having more time to kind of analyze these things, which is weird. Like I feel like my film knowledge is getting better and I'm remembering things that I've forgotten and I'm going, "Wait, I've seen that movie. I remember that actor."
The people in here, Bo Katan or something like that, Sabine Wren. Well, I literally don't. It's like literally you're writing in Mandarin to me right now. No
Bo-Katan.
idea. Let's get to some of these Patreon questions. Patreon.com/Roxy Stryer. JE says, Brett, if you could pick one grade in school to do over, which would it be? Rest in peace, Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins. Oh, from the Who Framed Roger Rabbit
No idea.
fame. Did that happen today?
I don't
Do I
know.
have to open up another
Bob
tab?
Hoskins news. I don't see anything. Feels
He,
like they might have made it up.
um,
Do you see anything?
yeah, April 20. Oh, he died on April 29th, 2014. So that's some old news.
Well, I didn't.
But
I didn't know.
he he
Okay.
he was in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So take that, people who think I don't know movie stuff.
All right. Wow. Anyway, I guess.
So do you get a lot of Star Wars people in this? Is this
No, you've brought the Star Wars people.
that's 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 odd.
I don't know why. Oh, anyway, that was just the
Yeah.
grade in school. Do over a grade, Brett. Do
Um,
over a grade.
let's see. What am I gonna do over? I'm gonna do over seventh grade. I think seventh grade was junior high. We didn't have a middle school.
Oh,
Seventh
really?
seventh grade was a defining moment for me, in terms of my oh God, I'm trying to think.
Life.
Yeah, just no, in terms of my ability to like date women. I had a girlfriend and I was very shy and I was like one of the like she was a very popular girl and I kind of blew it because I didn't talk to her enough. I mean, all that silly junior high stuff like, I was like nervous to dance with her at the dance and have anybody dance with me and then I had a crush on this girl up until we graduated and that kind of
What was her first name?
her first name was Holly. Yeah.
Holly.
Yeah, and she
Holly's
um
such a high school or ex girlfriend name.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
But I think because of her, I did I had no game for the rest of my life
I
because
feel like your wife is the hottest person ever, so you clearly have some kind of game.
I think she understood me. It. I don't know. I think with her, we became friends, and then the barrier of me. The stink of desperation was always on me. I never was able to go out and like just pick up a gal at a bar and
Did
like
you
I
ever have a one night stand ever?
no.
You never did.
I dated most of the women that I had first dates with,
Would
and
you
I did.
admit if you did ever have one?
Oh yeah, yeah, totally, totally. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I wanted. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I wanted
Yeah.
to.
Just wasn't your thing.
It just I could I wasn't a closer, as the kids say. I
Oh,
was.
look at the kids
Yeah,
coming out to say
yeah.
closer. Uh, Going back in here in the super chat, Larry said, Doctor did diagnose me with corona. Larry, I know
Oh,
you've been going back and forth feeling sick, so I'm really sorry to hear that. But the only good thing about it is now at least you know what's going on.
and
And
you could
that's
get
always,
tested. Yeah.
yeah, and that's given me peace of mind before knowing what it is. So then there are ways to try to move forward and breathing techniques. I saw this one from a doctor in England, maybe, talking about you breathe in really deep 5 times. And on the sixth one, you do a big cough out. so that
Really?
anything that's stuck in your lungs gets out, and that's been really helpful for people. But you can YouTube different things too.
Yeah,
That's just
take
my
care of yourself, Larry, please. Yeah.
yeah. Larry's the frickin' best.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm so sad to hear that, but I'm happy that at least you know that probably gives you peace of mind. Mikael Dingus says, doing my second coaching session with Schmodown Smets this month. Any advice on making an impression or things to do to prove myself for the Schmodown? Brett, what do you think,
I would
Schmodown
say
champion?
win matches is the best way to impress people. Um, I think that's kind of, isn't that the whole point? Is if you win, you impress people.
I think just try to be humble. Don't
Mm,
come in like you know everything. If you're trying to impress Smets, he was very, very humble. He worked his ass off. So study, be kind.
yeah.
It's a good way to start. Also, Mikkel said, just moved far from friends slash fam to start biz before COVID. On hold now. Any advice on find my first therapist? I've never had slash seen one before. Brett, what do you think?
Well, that is the toughest thing is when you're depressed and you don't want to get out of bed, and then you look at your insurance or so, if you have it, and it says here's a list of 50
Mhm.
people. Now call all these, look at their bios, call these people. It's a difficult process.
So challenging.
And luckily I had my wife help me out, and I said, can you kind of weed through, you know me, can you weed through some of these and see what you think? And she kind of created a smaller list for me, and I
A
made a
lot of them
few.
have like s- specialties.
Mm-hmm.
So like it will be like family and marriage, LGBTQ plus, addiction. And sometimes it's hard to even like self-diagnose like why you are going, but some of those specialties can kind of help you narrow down a list. Probably that's what your wife was looking for, the
Yeah.
things that she felt like were their specialties that aligned with you. Depression or whatever it is, because I don't know exactly what's going on with you, Mikal, but that's a good place to start. But it
Yeah.
is really challenging.
And the fact that you're looking. I mean, I think if you do have a healthcare provider, they kind of limit who you can go see in a set. There, if you HMO or PPO or whatever. I mean, it's also confusing. But I
Hmm.
think the fact that you want to search and you're willing to search is the first step. And and even ask people around that maybe might have therapists. But it
So
is, you got to try people out. That's the thing.
one of
You
my
know.
best friends is in school for this right now, and she gave me a great tip too. Is that the people in school for it that aren't first years, they're third year, fourth year, whatever it is, they are required to give free therapy to people, but you have to be willing to be taped. But these people are like in the thick of it. They have amazing counselors helping them as well. And usually the entire thing costs $5 to $10 per
Oh wow.
session, which is really manageable. But a lot of these people, if you find a school that you like their school of thought, their teachings, which a lot of them will say on their website, if you ask what's available, they will give you their rates, which again, it's usually under $10 per session, and they can kind of match you with somebody.
That's
So
really cool.
yeah, it's definitely a great way of doing it, especially if you're balling on a budget.
Yeah.
That's a helpful tip that she gave me. So hopefully that helps you. And I'm glad that you wrote that in here, and I'm
Yeah.
sure other people in here are probably thinking about the same thing. So
Totally off topic. We had a hair salon that was a school in my hometown that you could get $5 haircuts because they were all in training. So that was
they do this for a lot of things, like teeth whitening.
yeah.
There are schools for that you can go. I mean, there's a lot of them. Maybe not like a tattoo school, but I
Not
hear they
or
do that
laser
too.
surgery.
No,
Stay away
laser.
from that.
Stay
Yeah.
away. Uh, let's see in here. Garth McMurray, during Brett and Kate's play date, you mentioned, is that the name of the show? Brett and Kate's play date?
That's going to be what the show will be. This is the development show for. So we
For,
did.
okay.
That's one of the things we came up with, was the name through
I
suggestions and a
love
vote.
that. It's so cute. You mentioned that you like to play Animal Crossing. Have you ever considered playing live on Twitch? I know many SEN Live and Schmodown fans would follow you and you could earn extra cash. Emma Fife, Ben Goddard, Drew Guy, and others could help you get started.
Yeah, I kind of was talking to my wife about that because I think people would love to see how frustrated I get with the fishing and things like that. It's such a
I've never
basic.
played it, so I don't even know.
Oh, it's like it's so it's like a Sims, but like so basic and child wonderment, and you're picking flowers and fishing and trying to collect bugs, and you invite people to your island. And when I
You've never
mentioned it,
invited me to your island.
well, you got to get on. You got to get the crossing. You got to get
Oh
the crossing.
man.
I
I
haven't
don't
actually
know.
found anybody that I've been able to, because I guess yeah, a lot of friends that wanted to get Switches now couldn't because they're being price gouged on Amazon because
Yeah,
they
it's
all got to.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy. More questions coming in. Douglas Emmett. Hey, Brett, I'm a massive fan of yours, and I love watching you on SEN Live because you always seem to make me laugh and brighten up my day. My question is, what's your favorite film review that you did during your Brett to the Future segment?
I think it was the Snowpiercer review where Ellis and I just couldn't stop laughing because I made one bad train. I said I thought it had choo many plot holes or something like that, and it went, and I had a series of them. I thought it
Punny
went,
is the best.
but it was so dumb that we just started giggling, and I had a lot of fun with that. And I also had a lot of people who were mad at me that I didn't really appreciate that movie. I don't know.
Well, we learned earlier today, Brett, that means you should die.
Hmm.
So I
Yeah,
think it's pretty clear that that's what the internet felt about that. How
yeah.
dare
How
you?
dare you?
How dare you disrespect Snowpiercer?
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Uh, Alias in here says, "Is there a comedian that has influenced you the most?"
I would say old school was like Robin Williams and Carlin and stuff like that. When I moved to LA, I really got into Bill Hicks. But I think that's because I had a lot of like anger issues at the time, and he's has a very biting humor.
Wait, I don't see that in you at all. Anger issues?
Oh, I looked through some of my old. I looked over there. I'm showing you because they're over there. I pulled out some. I used to write on Manila folders, and when I was waiting tables, I'd write jokes. I have a stack of like tickets to give to the kitchen staff. To
Mm-hmm,
like
mm-hmm.
I have jokes written on there, and a lot of them are scribbles. And yeah, I don't know. I was I realized that I'd been depressed for a long time, but I would bounce out of it. But I just, I wanted to find a girlfriend. I wanted to be acting more, and it was a rough few years, and the only point in time it was when I started booking commercials and stuff like that on a regular basis that I felt like, oh, maybe I can make this work. But it's been a long 20 years, and you know the internet stuff with the schmoes and stuff like that's been kind of a gradual climb into something, but it's still I had to change my track because
Pat, yeah.
all I ever wanted to do was be in movies and TV shows. And
You and
um,
me both.
I've never my auditions for those, very few.
How is that right now? Are you doing any self-tape stuff or it's just not been nothing during quarantine?
No, I don't. I mean, I don't. I know people are doing like, a buddy of mine said, please stop doing monologues on. Nobody wants to see that. He's an actor himself. He did this thing where he's Eddie Alfano. He's really funny. He did this thing and he goes, and scene. Hey guys, I just want to tell you, and he goes into this whole diatribe about like, stop doing monologues.
Wait, I'm loving seeing the monologues
Really,
right now.
really.
Oh my God, yes, because some of them are so awkward. Some of them are so awkward.
I would appreciate that part. I would
The
appreciate the.
the dramatic ones, like right now, the funny ones, I'm like, that's great. The dramatic ones, I'm like, oh, this is so hard right
Oh,
now. Like,
you gotta send me those. I think
oh.
I would enjoy that.
Mikael back in the super chat says, "Thank you guys. Just hearing you guys talk about it helps calm my nerves enough to further my search. Love you guys. You all help more than you know." Really sweet comment. Thank you for saying that. And I'm glad we help calm your nerves a little bit. Definitely, that's the hardest part. Once you're there, you're there.
Yeah.
And I've had bad experiences like you too, Brett. The first person I ever saw, her entire it was in her home. I don't know if that happens much out here, but in Boston, a lot of people practice in their own home, and the entire place smelled like cat piss so much. And the first time I ever went in for her, first time at the end of it, she told me I was bipolar.
Oh, just figured that out right off the bat.
One session, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you for that diagnosis. And also, your place smells like cat piss.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah. It's
So
you.
that can be challenging too, but getting there really is the hardest
Oh
part.
yeah, and then also if you're not liking somebody, like my therapist kept saying to me, she said, "Is this working for you? Because you're not going to hurt my feelings if you think that this isn't working and you need
Right.
to see somebody else." They're very, most of them will say like, "Hey, don't keep coming to me
It's got to be a
if
match.
yeah, yeah."
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Glenn in here says, "Hi, Roxy and Brett. Happy Saturday. It's great to have you live at the Roxy. Brett, thanks for virtually hanging out with us today. I'm looking forward to hearing where the conversation takes us." This was before we started the stream. "I'm sure it's going to be very interesting, very funny. Glad you're in the Rockstars band. Brett, what are some of your favorite games to play with family and friends, whether they're video games, board games, card games, etc.? Do you have a particular game that you play on a regular basis because you love it so much?"
What's really cool is the group of friends that we used to get together and play board games that we can't now. There's this board game arena .com, and we've been playing games together. We play Carcassonne as one of them. Dice Forge. These are
Carcassonne?
yeah, I think
What
that's how
is
you
that?
pronounce it. It's a pretty basic meeple placing, road building kind of thing. I think it's a fairly old game.
Huh.
Dice Forge is a newer one that I actually have the physical copy of, which was really cool because I could start playing this with my friends in Arizona. I have friends in New Orleans. I have friends and we
Humble brag,
yeah
friends all over the place. It's
yeah.
so
It's kind of
popular.
sad. No, they all just kind of left. It's they all were here at one point. Um, but yeah, I love trying out new games because my son is really that was another bonding thing we got into is he loved trying to figure out a new game, and we got away from the basics monopolies and things like that. And I had mentioned that I shot 6 episodes of a board game kind of infotainment show that has comedy and talking about different board games, and I went to Germany to a convention for board games.
Wait, that was when we were doing Collider, right? I
Yeah,
remember when you did that.
yeah, and it was
Remember when
it's
we did Collider?
remember that remember back in the remember
Speaking of which, hi to John Roca in here.
that
The
hey
good old days, right, John?
is that the
Right.
real John? Is that
What do you mean? Is that the real John?
well? We have a John Roca that comes into the chats that was saying we were talking about favorite movies when you were born, and they were saying things like cave drawings and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, that does happen. But no, I
hi,
think this is, I
John.
believe with the real John Roca, please stand up. I believe
Yes.
it is him. Okay, then another question, Maddie B. This is a fun one. Brett, do you have a senior superlative? If so, what is it?
What does that mean?
You didn't have those in your yearbook, like most likely to become famous. We would
Oh,
have like most likely to be seen in senior lot, which meant like you were a pothead, or like most likely or best eyes, whatever, any
yeah.
superlative. You guys
I
didn't have those?
no. I had a lot of people say a lot of uh, women that I had crushes on say that you're a funny but weird guy. And
Were you class clown?
I was yeah. I used humor a lot too.
Class clown.
Yeah. So I think I could have. It was never written out, but I definitely. My favorite thing to do was take teachers that were known as the meanest and the ones you couldn't break. And if I could break that teacher, there was one teacher that I had that like nobody could get this woman to laugh. And when I she'd be talking and I'd say something, she'd go, Brett, you, and it was and I had and then after that like great relationship. She I kind of broke through her kind of
You cut
rough
through it.
exterior, and yeah.
I think that class clown. Then that's what you get. True story. One of our senior superlatives was biggest party animal, and I wanted it so bad. I campaigned for it, and I lost by 3 votes. I had a really big school, over 2,000
Oh wow.
people, 2,500 something, but I lost by 3 votes to a girl who then ended up giving herself drug induced schizophrenia because
Oh
she was, I think people confuse party animal with drugs.
yeah, yeah.
She just did a lot of drugs. So
Because you can
Joe,
party with no
that's
drugs and alcohol.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big party girl. But why I wanted that so bad. The thing I should have wanted was like most likely to be famous, or nope, I wanted
Yep.
biggest party animal. That's how I want to be remembered. But I didn't get it. Too sad.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
sorry.
PC and ER, two my favorite people together. Yes. Favorite dish to cook. What's your favorite? I know you said you like a stew or a pot roast.
Favorite dish. Gosh, that's so tough. My favorite thing is every year for Thanksgiving, all of our friends get together, and these are the ones I was talking about, and that's where we do a
The
lot of our,
popular ones.
yeah, the
Yeah.
board
Mhm.
gaming. These are all of my best friends that I knew from high school that met in LA that have kind of all branched out, and my favorite thing to do is cook the turkeys for Thanksgiving. I've done it for
What do you
20
do?
years now. I've done a lot of various ones. There was a span that we were doing the deep fat frying of them, and there was some mishap on some of those,
What do you
but
mean? Did anybody get injured?
no, it's I used a butter to inject. I didn't think about it. I was using like an oil and Grand Marnier injection one time that turned out great, and I used whiskey and things like that. And one year I put butter inside of it, and I didn't register in my head that butter has a lower smoking point, and so when I pulled it out, the whole turkey was black because the butter had seeped out and burned
Mm,
on top
was
of
it
it.
delicious anyway or no?
No, it was not good.
You
And
ruined Thanksgiving.
oh, I gotta post this video. Speaking of smoke point, I turned up. We would then do a fish fry the following night, and I had my friends that were out talking. I'm like, keep an eye on this. When this gets to 350, let me know. And I go back inside and I'm doing stuff, and I come outside and the oil is up to over 400 some
They
odd
just didn't
degree.
tell you.
Yeah, and they're like, I go, you didn't watch it, and they're like, no. So something had happened. Like I don't know what happened, but he like put a lid on it and then took the lid off, and a flame shot up in the air that was probably 10 feet high. There's video of this and us screaming and laughing, and like, nobody was hurt, thankfully.
Wait, I need to see it.
Yeah, I've got to find that. It's one of the craziest Thanksgiving experiences ever. But when we deep fat fry, we had a child gate around it so the kids couldn't get it. We
Yeah,
were
yeah,
very
yeah.
safe about it. But
Damn.
stuffing the skin and stuff like that, I
All
always do
right.
one that's just basic, and then one that I do with injections and Creole
Oh,
seasonings and
good.
stuff.
So even when you messed up with the butter one, you had a
Yeah, yeah,
basic bitch
yeah.
turkey.
I have to do
Yeah.
2 a year. We have that many people that come over for our
Wow.
Thanksgivings. Yeah.
Oh, so that year everybody got a half serving.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry,
you did your
guys.
best. Glenn says, Brett, do you have a favorite book that you enjoy rereading on a regular basis? We already heard that Brett doesn't like to read.
Yeah. If it,
Uh,
but I will
it,
say, there's a monster at the end of the book. Is my favorite childhood book that I loved reading, and I loved when reading that to my children. So there's a.
okay. This was a multiple parter. If you don't have a favorite book, which we do, favorite movie, TV show that you like to rewatch, or favorite artist, band, and song album.
I would say my favorite. I love a lot of bands. In heavy music, Tool is my favorite. Enema is my favorite album of theirs. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's spelled differently. I
Enema, like
believe.
the thing in your butt.
Yeah, yeah, but
I have to get those.
I think they spell it differently, or I just did never knew how that word was spelled. But I enjoy Tool.
I think it's Enima. That's enema.
Yeah, there's an AE on, I think, believe. If somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
They're trying to make a
In
point.
folky music, I've talked about him a lot recently. Nathaniel Rateliff is my new favorite. I listen to him a lot. He's very calming, but also he's got some folky stuff and some more. He's just he's a great singer songwriter. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I just love so much music. There's
I like what you
80s.
just did.
I'm just like, I just
Just
love.
gripping in your own
That's
head.
the Flirtenfloss. He loves to dance, you know.
Oh, he made an appearance.
I just
Uh,
love music.
I do too. Weston says, I know Katie is a friend of the Schmodown world, so I figured she might come on to talk about what would be your next live action gig. As Christian just said, was a lock to happen. Is there another celeb that had a twist that you found out about years later? What? Help me, Brett. Help me. You're my only hope.
Yeah, say that one again.
Okay. I know Katie is a friend of the Schmodown world,
Yes.
so I figured she might come on to talk about what could be her next live action gig, as Christian just said was a lock to happen.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the Mandalorian
That's the
part.
Mandalorian.
Is there another celeb that had a twist that you found out about years later?
Ooh,
What does that mean?
yeah. I don't
A
see. I can
twist
be.
that I
I
found out about.
yeah. It
What's
within
what's the twist?
within the show or within their real lives. Hmm. That's a tough one.
I mean, I think 2020 and 2019 have showed a lot of twists in
Yeah, there's a
celebs that we
lot.
did not,
Yeah,
you
there
know,
was definitely a lot
plenty
of
of twists.
yeah.
I don't
God.
know if that's what you're talking about, but Weston, clarify. Sorry. Garth Harkness McMurray, Brett, share your stop being shitty to people on the internet video from old Schmoes Knows days all the time. It's wonderfully expressive of all my rage at trolls on the internet. Would you ever maybe do an updated version of it as hashtag Zaflirtenflaus?
I don't know if Zefirtenflaus doesn't have that much rage. He's all about love, but no, that rage one was one where Alani said to me, my wife said, you need to dial that back a little bit. You might have a heart attack. You know, I red in the face, and that was early on when I couldn't handle it. But when
Yeah.
somebody called my mom the c word, and it
No
really
way. Oh, that's
yeah
what started that?
yeah yeah.
Yeah, it's not
And then
ideal.
again, and then it was also about being bad. You know, like the comments to all the women on the show. I mean, I totally agree that the women on the show on these in the YouTube get it so much
Oh
worse
my
than
god,
everybody.
we get slaughtered.
Yeah,
It's crazy town.
and it's like, what is wrong with you? First of all, I mean, this is like, and is it because is it like a really aggressive, mean tugging of the skirt on the
I don't
playground? I
know.
mean, but it's
I
just
try to
like,
tell myself that. I'm like, they all have a crush on
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. And there, there are ways to compliment Roxy without being sleazy. You know, there.
That fucking one with the you were there that day, Brett, where I wore a tank top.
Yeah,
Holy shit. The amount of hate I got from other men and women about that. Like I was on a pole. Like I
yeah.
came in on the pole. Which, by the way, so what if I fucking did? So what if I did? Preston Bryant says, I appreciate both of you and your honesty. Fave show or movie you enjoyed watching with your children, and have you seen Avatar: Last Airbender? Well, me and my children love. Brett, I think you're gonna have to take this one.
Everybody tried to get me to review Avatar: The Last Airbender because I knew, but when I knew something was bad, I think they thought that if it wasn't, they knew it was bad, that it was, I'd have a funnier review. But w-
I hear it's
comedically,
amazing.
Avatar, no, that one's horrible.
Really? I heard.
Yeah,
Isn't that supposed to be so good?
no, it's like everybody kept trying to get me to watch The Room too, and I'm like, guys, I
No,
know
wait.
it's a bad.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. This isn't the animated one that everybody's obsessed with.
This was a live action, I believe. This was a
Isn't this the one
M
that
Night
like Eights
Shyamalan.
loves and
Am I right? Is it M Night Shyamalan?
no Avatar: The Last Airbender? Isn't this is the thing that everybody loves,
Somebody needs to help us out here. Where's the?
right? No, he means the animated series, Brett. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, there was a movie and an animated series. Oh, so you're
okay,
thinking of the movie and I'm thinking of the animated series.
okay.
No,
So,
this is the animated series is like known as one of the best animated series of all time. Um,
ah,
M. Night did a movie called Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I thought so.
He, what? Somebody help. The cartoon is Avatar. Oh, the Airbender movie sucks. The animated show is
Yeah.
great.
Oh, so the movie is called just The Last
Airbender.
Airbender.
So
and that
Avatar: The Last Airbender is
and
the.
look at me, M. Night Shyamalan, people. Look at what has happened to me in quarantine. I have just named the director of a film, and but yes, so
But you know you got it wrong.
I would like to see. Well, I guess yeah. After yeah, I didn't
Look at
realize
me.
there's two.
Look at me.
I have not watched that with my children.
No, I
My
think that part was clear.
my favorite thing to watch with my children was always the Toy Story films. Those that will always be like a memory, a joyful memory in my heart is like going um, to I think it was three with my son dressed as Woody. And he woke me up that morning and where he's like, "Is today when we're going?" I go, "Yeah, yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wear my Woody costume to the movie." And I said, "Yes, you are." And we've got him out in the hallway dancing, and he's got the boots on and the full on, like, Woody costume. And we went to that movie, and I took pictures. People were like, "Oh, cool, look at him." And, that's like one
You're
of my
such a
happy
cool
places.
dad. Oh my God. That
and
sounds like
for
the best memory.
and for my daughter, it was, of course, Frozen, which, as much as people gave that, I never hated it because to hear
I liked it.
a 4-year-old sing those songs never got old to me.
Look at me. Look what I'm about to do. I'm going to
Get
kill
that
this
spider.
motherfucking bug.
Uh oh.
Can you see it?
Oh, that was a baby.
Well, it still deserved to die, Brett.
Maybe there's more. Maybe that was just one of the crop of new babies that have.
I have a mask in here. Is it still sanitary? Yeah, it was on the outside.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to put that right over
Do you
here.
do you do you wear reusable ones, or are you bringing out when you go?
So I have, well, first of all, anything I'm able to get my hands on, give to my grandparents. So
That's right.
I have reusable masks, but I give them the ones that go in the wash because I know that they are on the we don't need this train a lot of the times, and that they will do. Like when I told them to tie a bandana when we couldn't find masks, they were like, "That's ludicrous." So
People are
most
gonna think
masks
we're
go
robbing
there.
the joint.
But this one I'm saving because they gave it to me at when Papa was in the hospital, they gave this to me at Cedars.
Yeah.
Anybody who's walking in. So this is a non-reusable one, just in case I need it. Who the fuck knows why, but it's just been in this
I
envelope
think
in
you're fine
case.
as long as that spider didn't have COVID. I think you're all right.
You think the spider could have had COVID?
No, I don't. Who
Oh my
knows,
God, don't
man?
fuck with me. We are getting out of here soon, and then I'll do some Googling about spider COVIDs. But before we do, Dragon are three born. Brett, you may like a band called the Dead South, folk bluegrass with a modern twist. Do you know them?
Hey, I don't, but I'll write it down right now.
What was it? The Dead South?
Dead South.
It's always interesting to me how people pick their band names. My dad, I think you know this, Brett, but my dad was in the music industry.
Yeah, yeah.
And after he was a promoter for all those like big bands, he started managing smaller bands, and he was always a part of figuring out their name. And I always thought that it was so fucking funny. Like one of the bands was called the Hippie Grabbers. One of them was the Yin Yang Gang, and it was just like it's so funny. Like who's listing these out and is like that's the one.
This is what we're doing.
And then the
Yeah.
bands that changed their names so many times. My favorite of his bands though was the Broken Homes. Doesn't that just sound like the best band name?
Yeah, yeah.
The Broken Homes. They were on that album. They were the title song on Born on the 4th of July. Do you ever see that movie?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my dad's band.
Nice.
So, just a quick shout out to him.
That had to
Simply
be tough for him to go like, you know what, that name's kind of dumb. You know.
Totally. Simply Emily, Avatar: The Last Airbender is on Netflix on May 15th. Highly recommend the show. By the way, you guys are awesome. I'm glad that we figured that out. I was like, I'm pretty sure this is one of the best properties ever.
Ooh,
We really
was
went
it
back and
roundabout?
forth. So we know that you might be doing Twitch stuff in the future, as you might be streaming your games. But Brett, before we get out of here, where can they find you now? What are you working on? I don't even know what's going on in SEN. Are you there every day, or how? Where?
Yes.
When? Who? How? What?
Yeah, I'm on SEN every day. I am also doing my, if you go on the $10 Patreon for SEN, you get to be a part of the development show with myself and Kate every Friday at 1:30. And we have a different activity we do each week. The first week we built Legos while we were discussing
I've
our
been
pitch
building
session.
Legos, and everybody told me you guys have been building Legos. I wanna build Legos with you guys.
Oh, it was so
It's
it was
so
so,
fun.
oh
It's so
yeah.
fun.
And this was just one week. We did one week of that. We did one week where we played Pictionary. We did one week. The last one we did, we had to draw portraits of each other. And it's right over
Whose was
there.
better?
Let me grab it. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
grab
want to
the.
see. I feel like Brett's might have been better, but I don't know that that's true.
Kate
I
sent me a picture of herself, super pregnant, and this was the one. It was a selfie she took in the mirror. So that's my. And we had to write at the top.
Wait, that's actually pretty good.
It was decent. I was surprised. And she kept talking. She goes, "You need to actually be involved with the two. I think you're trying too hard to make the better portrait." So,
Wait, I want to see the other one.
she's got. I don't know if she
Is
posted it
she
or
a good
not.
artist?
Hers was about the same as mine. I think we both aren't
Eh.
great, but we aren't
Great. Good
horrible.
enough.
Yeah.
Good enough. Still with the super chat. Roxy, there's one more Streamlab question for Brett. Well, there's actually two more that I see in here, Glenn. One's coming from you saying, thanks for giving us a great show, Roxy and Brett. This was awesome. 2 thumbs up. Love you both. Hashtag rockstars. Hashtag cast iron gang. Here's my last question for you, Brett. I'm curious to hear your answer. If you could pick any special ability or superpower, what would it be?
Oh, that one's all. You know what that is? Every single
He
commercial
wants to
audition.
fly.
Yeah, commercial auditions, that's a big one they always ask you. And I jokingly said this one time, but not having to, go to the bathroom would be wonderful. I'm sorry.
You would gain a lot of time back in your life.
Right? And there wouldn't be those moments where you're like driving and you're like, so if it was one that didn't help anybody but myself, that would be that one. The other superpower I would like to be able to do is that if I walked past people that were feeling sad, or depressed, that I could absorb their sadness and take it away from them, and then take it on myself, but not affect myself. It would just kind of, I would absorb, and it would just it
And then
wouldn't.
you could push it out.
Yeah, I could push it out. So that's
Because if it
one.
affected yourself, you would, I mean, that would be the
Oh, it would be
worst.
horrible. Yeah, yeah, but it would, or I could
Why don't
harness
you
it in
just,
some.
instead of absorbing it, why don't you just take it away?
That's a good one. Yeah, I just thought it was a more interesting storyline if he absorbed it somehow, and maybe more interesting would be if he had to then take it all on. I guess
Yeah,
for
but
the
also
film.
fuck that. On this show, we often make fun of Christian Harloff for this very thing that happened when we were talking about. Do you remember this?
Yep.
I'll never forget. The power of persuasion.
Yeah.
Never forget.
He
And when he came on, he
recently
still
tried to explain
justified.
it. Oh yeah.
No, it's not explainable. Don't pick that power, you fucking crazy. He's like, everything can be used for good or evil. It is true, but that one in particular. Weston says, I keep running out of space in this box, which is made worse by the fact that my brain is stuck on Star Wars and depressing stuff. Sorry about that. Thank you both for being a positive part of the equation. I think that was that was trying to clarify is there another celeb that had a twist, but I still don't know what your question was, dear.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
I'm sorry. We tried. Twist and shout, twist and shout.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Quick run of show, whatever the fuck it's called, where I tell you guys who's coming on in the next couple of weeks. I'm telling you, my brain is not working fully anymore. I say the dumbest shit.
Oh yeah.
I always say dumb shit, but Stacey Howard's coming on tomorrow, which I'm really excited about because I haven't seen her in a minute. Tuesday, you guys know my arch nemesis, who I absolutely hate, according to all of you guys. Tom Dagnino is coming on, but why would she invite him on her show if she hates him?
Yeah.
It's very confusing, Brett. And Wednesday, I don't know that. Oh yeah, Coy. He confirmed yesterday. So Coy's coming on. So good people coming up. But for now, Brett, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody at home, round of applause for Brett.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. You rock. Everyone stay safe. Good luck with all of your missions in the next 24 hours. And I'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. live at the Roxy.
Bye.
I like that high note. Bye.